So let us deep dive on understanding sector rotation, how we can create big alpha using this simple strategy. We are going to discuss that today. Now, sector rotation, hope you all are aware about this concept, sector rotation. Sector rotation usually happens in the stock market where the sectors rotate. Some of the sectors give high returns. Some of the sectors becomes laggards. So how to find such sectors and how to benefit from them. So this is what we are going to discuss. So this is the agenda for today, understanding cycles, business cycles, interest rate cycles, market cycles, how cycles affect sector rotation in Indian markets. We will see past 10 years of data, how sectors have been rotating and how they have generated superior returns when the sector was in upcycle. So we will be discussing all those sector rotation which has happened in market, and we'll be discussing about how to find upcoming leading sector ratio charts deep dive. So it is a part of my 2-hour session, but in short, I'll be taking some few points. I'll be covering that in this today's session. Next, I'll be covering about blast from the past, how we spotted a winning sector in past using the same process which I have explained in ratio charts. Then I'll be talking about which is the upcoming outperforming sector. In fact, I have posted about that on Telegram, on public channels. I'll be discussing about that. Then I'll be talking about the strategies to play the upcoming sector. And at last, for the people who want to join our community, because we run a niche community, which is the Conviction Club, what are the commercials about that? So we'll be discussing all these points today. So without wasting much time, let us go forward and understand. What should be your expectation in markets when as an investor or as a trader? So your expectation should not be like मैं पैसा नहीं गवाऊंगा, because if markets fall, you will be falling. But your expectation should be like during falling markets, you should be falling lesser than the markets. During rising market, you should rise more than the market. And if you are able to do that, it is called as alpha generation. And alpha generation, if we are able to do that for longer periods of time, like if you look at Nifty returns, like Nifty has given like 15% CAGR returns for the past 30-35 years. So if one is able to make an alpha of around 10% or an above index, automatically he will be never worried about market correction, because when in market correction, and how alpha is generated when you fall less than the market, and during the rising market, you rise higher than the market. And how it can be achieved, let us deep dive in this today's session. Understanding this point is important. I've been repeating always, everything is cyclical in this world. If we are able to understand this, we are able to create big alpha. Even if you look at your life, I'm not even talking about stock market. Even if you look at your life, you are never always happy. There will be times where you'll be in sorrow. There will be times where you'll be super happy. So all those cycle happens. Even in market, greed and fear cycle happens. There is greed during the bull markets. There is fear during the bear markets. And even in the business, the cycle happens. Business goes through up cycle and our down cycle, because everything is cyclical in this world. A lot of people say that FMCG is not cyclical, but let me tell you, even FMCG is cyclical. But the level of cyclicity is too low that we don't understand that it is a cyclical sector. I believe every sector in this market is cyclical. Every business in this market is cyclical. Depending upon the level of the cyclicity, the businesses can be divided into high level of cyclicity like metals, low level of cyclicity like FMCG. Because even we have seen the FMCG cycle, the margins contracted when the raw material prices went up, and there were dent on profits for FMCG companies because they were not able to pass on to the consumer. So understanding this is very much important. Everything is cyclical in this world. Now, how cycles happen? Like there are business cycles. So businesses go through peak, then recession, then depression, then expansion. So these keeps on happening again and again. So there is business cycle, and similarly there is economic cycle. Business cycle can be also called as economic cycle. Economies also go in expansion mode, and they also go into contraction mode. And similarly, it happens with the business also. So one more cycle is like interest rate cycle, that is also related with the economy. And in economic cycle, if there is a weak economy, the central bank lowers the rates. When central banks lowers the rates, automatically the money becomes cheap. When the money is cheap, more business investment happens, encouragement towards consumer spending, weak exchange rate, and because of that, economy improves. Because of that, when economy improves, there are competitive exports, expensive imports. Because of that, booming economy happens. And before booming economy happens, a lot of inflation starts going up. Means at the time when booming economy is there, there is high employment, there is high inflation, there is increased borrowing. Because of that, higher inflation, once again, interest rate, Federal Reserve or any, for that matter, RBI in Indian case, they don't have any other option than to increase the rate. So when interest rates goes up, once again, it slows down the economy. So this is a cycle which happens in interest rates. This also causes a business cycle. This also causes an economic cycle. And it also causes market cycles, because economic cycles also causes market cycle. But one point we need to understand is market cycles are ahead of economic cycle. A lot of people get confused. Even I have seen during the recent times, a lot of people were worried about recession. But when there is recession, market will actually bottom out, because market bottoms out much before the recession and market tops out much before the boom. So market is a leading indicator. It moves ahead than the real economy. And if we want to understand about market cycle, there is no other better person than Howard Marks. He has written a special book on mastering the market cycle, and he talks about how to play market cycles, how to make it to your benefit. If you are interested in reading that, you can read that. But especially for a newbie, it will be hard for reading this. I have written a special blog on our Strategic Alpha blog on second level thinking that might be easier for a newbie to understand than reading this whole book. So you can go through that. So this is how psychology, market psychology happens. Because if we understand this market psychology, and if we are understanding different cycles like business cycles, economic cycles, and interest rate cycles, we are able to play the opportunities better in an asymmetric way, because market is a probability game. You cannot always win. What you need to do is, when you are losing, you should lose less, and when you are winning, you should win big. That should be your expectation, and that's the opportunity which you need to find. And market cycles create such an opportunity for an investor to create that asymmetric bets in their portfolio. And if you go through second level thinking, you'll be able to understand how to play that better. So blog is there on strategicalpha.blog. You can go through that later. Now, sector rotation based on the cycles, sectors also start rotating, because as I said, market, this is red color line which you are seeing, this is market line. Blue color line which you are seeing, this is economy line. If you are able to see this, market bottoms out much before the recession. Even before recession happens, the market will start bottoming out. Have you seen that in the recent case of US? Because when I said a lot of people were worried about recession, and I was constantly saying that US markets have bottomed out. I posted that on Telegram also, because markets are one step ahead than the real economy. And this is very much important to understand. Don't go by the headlines, reading the newspaper that we are into recession. By that way, you are not going to make money. The reason for that is markets are forward looking. So markets bottom out much before the recession. The bull market start during the recession itself, and a lot of people get confused. Arey bhai, real ground pe to kuch nahi ho raha hai, but markets have started going up, and that is when, because of that confusion, they don't enter during the bull market, even if they have missed it here. And they miss it completely, because this is when a lot of people, a lot of retail investors, a lot of investors who are not understanding these cycles, they come at the top, because that is when the headline news, numbers, everything starts coming good. Even on news channel, everyone is talking about recovery. Everyone is talking about good numbers, but that is the time when the market stops. So market tops before the economy tops, and market bottoms out before the economy bottoms out. And during the various phases of the cycle, these are the sectors which are performing. Like during the earlier, when there is a time where the recessionary period might start, that is the time when financials, I'm not much sure about technology and cyclicals, but I can say about financials because that is when the interest rate will start coming down, and that is when financial stocks will do very well. I don't remember his name. This is an analogy which created by a market participant, a US market participant, but I don't go by these. I believe on my method, which I will be sharing it later. So during the recessionary period, these are the sectors which do well. This is the time when most of the investors shift their money to safer side. Healthcare and utilities are the sectors where nobody will stop consuming electricity. Nobody will stop consuming healthcare services or even staples. So these are the cycles which happens because of various kinds of cycles, and based on that sector rotation happens in Indian markets during various periods in past 10 to 15 years. I have plotted the charts of various sectors. This is weekly data, which means 1 point is equal to 1 week. It is quite evident that it depends upon the base when you start. If you look it from the December 2020 period, PSU Bank is the clean outperformer from COVID period, because if I say that COVID period was a reset, so since then PSU sector has generated highest return compared to all other sectors. This is Hero MotoCorp, forget about this, but other sectors, Bank Nifty has outperformed. Nifty is in blue color, so this is Nifty, and this is Bank Nifty. If your stocks are not placed in Bank Nifty, you have underperformed. Means if you don't own bank stocks, you are underperformed since COVID. And if you don't own PSU bank stock, you are underperformed from COVID. Now, if we look it from the shorter perspective, even from a 1 year perspective, from October 2022, PSU banks have been the clean outperformers compared to all others. Now, if we look it from since March, what has been the case since March, 28th March, we took a special session on Kya Lagta Hai Market. In that session, I said that markets have bottomed out. That is when Adani and all fears were going. That is when the whole world was worried about recession because a lot of banks collapsed in US. And I said about bull run has already started. Bull markets have already started. When people were worried about economy, I said the markets have bottomed out. And the reason I was able to do that because I was able to understand that market bottom out before the economy bottoms out. And if we look at from that perspective, from 28th March, Hero MotoCorp has outperformed all other indices, all other sectors. Even if I delete Hero MotoCorp because that is not a sector, just see the outperforming sectors. Auto has generated highest returns from March. Then there is PSU Bank. So autos and PSU banks are the clean leaders from 28th March. Now let us understand from past 1 month perspective. If we look at from the past 5 days perspective, we'll see that PSU banks have outperformed all other stocks for all other sectors. So this has been the journey. Even if we look at from a very long-term perspective, you'll be able to see that Bank Nifty has outperformed. So this is just to give you, this doesn't tell you which sector outperforms, but this is just to tell you sector rotation happens on a time frame, on a daily time frame, on a weekly time frame, on a longer term time frame, the sector changes. And if we are not participating in the upcoming sector, we are going to underperform. Now, like what I'm saying, if you look it from on a daily chart in past 10 days, right now, if your money is not in PSU Bank, you're going to underperform going forward. This is what the chart says. And how to make this chart? Just simply open one sector here, like I just put in Nifty here. Once you open one chart, after that, there is arrow here, means here you can just compare the symbol. You can add all the sectors here. This is how you are one another sector, each and every sector in this chart, so that you will be able to get the perspective. So this was the perspective, how sector rotation is happening in the markets and how the sector's leadership changes. Now, how to find a sector rotation, how to spot the upcoming winning sector. It is a 2-hour long session for the community members. If you are a community member, the recording of that session is available on the school. You can go through that. Even before attending this session, I recommended the community members so that you should watch this video before you attend this session so that you will be able to recollect better. If you are not a part of my community, at a later stage, I'll be talking about the commercial so that you'll be able to get into the community. So how to find, I'll just go through a few points from that presentation so that you'll be able to understand ratio charts, deep dive into ratio charts, how to find the upcoming winning sector or upcoming winning stock also. But for sector rotation, this is like a boon. So this ratio charts, what is ratio chart? It is a ratio of a numerator divided by denominator. So if you just do that ratio, it gives you relative strength chart, because if you just compare Nifty divided by Bank Nifty, you'll get a ratio chart of that. If the ratio is going up, what it means is numerator is outperforming the denominator. And what you need to do is you just need to spot such phases where the numerator starts outperforming the denominator, because if the ratio chart is low and whenever the trend changes, because I have also taken a special session on how to spot trends and all. The course is available on school. You can go through that, in which I have explained about how to spot trend change and all that. So you need to just spot the trend change. When the trend change happens, numerator will start outperforming the denominator. And that is when you need to pick that sector, you need to pick that stock. So interesting part is all the technical indicators and patterns also applies on ratio chart. That is the best part. So if you know rounding bottom breakout, there are multiple breakouts which I have explained. If you know that, you will be able to spot that sector well. So ratio chart doesn't tell you the direction of the stock price. What it tells you, that relative outperformance of that stock or of that sector respective to the other sector. When the ratio chart turns positive, the numerator will outperform the denominator. So what does outperformer means? A rising ratio can mean this ratio numerator is rising while the denominator is falling. That can also lead to rising ratio. Second case might be numerator is rising but denominator is unchanged. In that case also, the outperformance will happen. Third case is both are rising but numerator is rising faster than the denominator. So what it means is, अगर आपको ये समझ में आ गया कि बैंक निफ्टी और बैंक के stocks अच्छा करेंगे compared to the Nifty, but Nifty might also go up and Bank Nifty might rise faster than the Nifty. So both are rising, but numerator is rising faster than the denominator. Numerator is unchanged, but the denominator is falling. So numerator is constant and denominator is falling. In that case also ratio chart might go up. Both are falling, but denominator is falling lesser than the numerator. So these are the case wherein outperformance happens. And this is what you expect, right? When you are falling, you should fall less than the market. Your stock should fall less than the market. When you are rising, you should rise faster than the market. When the markets are unchanged, you should not fall if other sector is falling. So all those cases lead to a rising ratio, and rising ratio is what we need to look at when we are investing into a numerator. A falling ratio can mean vice versa, like numerator is falling but the denominator is rising. So vice versa happens in a falling ratio. So if you are able to find that upcoming uptrend in the ratio, you will be able to spot that outperforming stock or outperforming index. So words of wisdom, I have told in that session when to use ratio charts and when not to. That is also important to understand. If you are a part of my community, you can go through that session. It is available on school. So how I spotted the PSU bank outperformance. So I posted a ratio chart on March 25, 2022. March 25, 2022, that was the time when Ukraine crisis had just started. And that is what I said. PSU banks will outperform the private banks. I also posted about PSU bank will outperform the Nifty also. So I posted that on 25th March 2022. And since then, PSU banks have created the wealth like anything. Like Canara Bank has went up 2x, Indian Bank has went up 2.5x. There are a lot of PSU banks which have went up. Jammu Kashmir Bank has went up 3x. UCO Bank has went up like 6x. So this is when I spotted PSU bank outperformance. So in fact, I spotted this also during March 2022. I posted about ITC divided by weekly ratio chart on Telegram group. If you are not a part of our Telegram group, the link will be given in the description. You can join that later. So I posted that ITC will be the only FMCG stock which will outperform all other FMCG stocks for the next 3 to 5 years. And here I compared the stock ratio versus sector ratio, means stock divided by sector, and I found that outperformance here. And ITC has went up like 150%, because this is old slide which I'm showing you. At that point of time, ITC was up 58% and other FMCG stocks were not up. Even if you look at from today's perspective, from March, you'll see that ITC has created highest wealth compared to all other FMCG stocks. So outperformance was captured through ratio charts. You can do on to compare how to spot the winning stock or winning sector. We have built our inbuilt system also based on this ratio chart screener, where we come to understand that what are the sectors which are emerging. And this is the sector. I also posted that on Telegram channel. This is how I posted. If you just look at black color, that is CNS PSU Bank. So we have created our internal system. It has taken us long time, and soon we will be unveiling this to the community members. It is just for our internal use today, but soon it will be available on Strategic Alpha alerts. So here you will be able to spot which is going to be the upcoming sector. So PSU Bank is the leading sector, which I saw 2 days back, and this is weekly time frame. What it means is, on a medium term basis, short to medium term basis, PSU Bank are set to outperform once again. I also posted that. I'll be showing that once again at a later stage. So blast from the past, how we spotted outperforming sector versus or subsectors. So once again, in 2021, that was the time when the PSU Bank started outperforming other stocks. And I also had a fundamental view. See, ratio charts are useless unless and until you don't have a fundamental view. It helps you to increase your conviction in the bet, because if you have that fundamental view, you'll be able to carry that rally longer. Otherwise, it will be like a trading bet for you, because during the correction, it is very hard for you to digest some things and to hold on for a longer gain. So fundamental view is also important. And my approach always has been fundamentals, technicals, value, and trigger. So in triggers and technicals, there comes ratio chart. There might be many other tools, but I had a fundamental view on PSU Bank. 2002 to 2010 saw a good credit growth. 2010 to 2020 was like a decade of dead growth for PSU Bank. 2021 to 2030, credit upcycle has just started because of capex. Capital expenditure in the budget. So I was observing the budget. CapEx cycle has just started. It will benefit the PSU banks the most. Every private banker is aggressive on retail. No one wants to lend to steel, cement, and power. That was the time when I was talking about this in 2021. So some of the PSU banks are sitting at 85% provision coverage, and in fact NPAs were so low that yahan se cycle. So I understood that business cycle. That is why understanding the sector rotation, you need to understand the business cycle also. So they were in that business cycle wherein yahan se worst was behind them. Some of the PSU banks are trading as if they are going to go bankrupt. This is what I shared in 2021. My assessment might go on wrong on here, as business is not in my circle of competence. So I don't touch the stocks which are not in my circle of competence in my core portfolio. So that is the reason I might play here on a chartical basis with a stop loss, not a value-based stop loss, because in my core portfolio, I play value-based stop loss, not a price-based stop loss. But if the sector is not in my circle of competence, I use chartical stop loss. That is when you don't, because this is my observation. But understanding banking and financials is not my circle of competence. So as long as the trend is intact, I will carry this, and no mercy if it breaks down. So once again in August 2021, so this was my thesis, but I was waiting for the right moment, and right moment was spotted by ratio charts. So once again, I said in 2021, PSU banks, the next leader, will it do this time? So even from this to this period, the PSU banks were not performing well, but I was waiting for the right moment to spot on ratio chart. So I waited there. Then on 25th, I posted this finally. So after 1 year after observation, I spotted this. A lot of people talk about patience after investing, but patience before investing is much more important. And I spotted that trend on ratio chart on 25th March 2022. This is the formation which it created. So patience before investing is important. And finally, I increased my bets in trading bets in October 25, 2022. Weekend screener. This is our proprietary screener. Maximum price action has happened in maximum PSU banking stocks. And since then, what has happened? The stocks like Canara Bank went up from 194 to 330. So in December, when the ratio charts once again turned negative, I alerted on Telegram that December 13, 2022, remember PSU banks are not evergreen stocks. These are highly cyclical in nature and are opportunistic bets only. Do follow the rules of game. And in 9 months, HDFC is up only 10%. Most of the PSU banks have doubled. So this is the time in March you would have shifted from private banks to PSU banks. So March to December was like 6-8 months, and December 23rd, 2022 was spotted. I said that now the rally is fizzling out. 6 to 7 months, the stocks almost doubled. So profit booking is triggered for Canara Bank, 50% return in 10 months. Same with Indian Bank, it gave like 100% return in 6, 7, 8 months. So that was the time to book profit in this. But I was bullish on one more stock which was not falling as per the sector. Once again, I spotted that on ratio chart. Compared to other stock, PNB stock was not falling and it provided a huge value. So I was bullish on. So I booked profit from other stocks, and this was the time to bet on PNB Bank. So PNB Bank, it was not falling compared to other stocks that was spotted on ratio charts. This was the time to bet on PNB Bank. It was trading at 51 rupees. Today, if you look at today's price, it is trading at 61 rupees. One PSU bank which the worst is behind is Punjab National Bank. It is a bet on credit upcycle, which has just started. So what I usually do is in deep value zone, I put small amount. I keep on averaging on the upside whenever the breakout happens. So technically trend stage 2 uptrend has just started few months back. For people who can focus beyond 4 quarters, this can be a great opportunity to look into. This is what I spotted. So what is the sector which is going to outperform? This was blast from the past. Now let us understand which is the sector which is going to win in a big way going forward. So the next sector is once again PSU Bank, because the rally fizzled out in December. Today we are sitting in July, and I posted on Twitter on 6th of July 2023 that key to making alpha is understanding the sector rotation. I'm studying a subsector which is heating up once again after a stellar rally last year. Stay tuned, we'll share upon the confirmation. So I shared on the same day, good price volume action seen in PSU Bank Index. Highly likely next week onwards, they will outperform Nifty, mid cap and small cap. I have seen here because I was able to spot this outperformance on ratio charts, and based on that I posted here that highly likely next week onwards PSU banks are going to be winners. So this is my PSU bank watch list, and key characteristics of above stocks also I posted about that and I showed that. So this is when I posted on Thursday. Today we are in sitting in Saturday, and what is that is making me bullish on PSU bank now. So if this is PSU bank divided by Nifty ratio chart, if you have gone through my pattern analysis which is there on school, I have explained there about rounding bottom pattern. So rounding bottom pattern has happened, and this is a 3-year consolidation. What it means is PSU bank up move has just started, and after this, because I exited here, and once again after a long time, means it was not outperforming the Nifty, but just last week, this is last week candle, it has gone up above my red line, that is resistance line, and it is showing a clean sign because this is the rounding bottom target. It can outperform the index by 52%. What it means is if Nifty goes up by 1%, PSU bank will go up by 1.5%. This is index. And if we are able to spot good stocks from this index, they might go up much better than the index itself. So I have created my strong watch list. So how to play the upcoming PSU bank outperformance? If you are an active trader, I have created a strong stock watch list. from PSU Bank, Central Bank, Jammu Kashmir Bank, Maharashtra Bank, PNB Bank, Bank of India, and Union Bank. These are the 6 stocks which at first what I have done is I have bought all these stocks in equal allocation and I am going to selectively average up the winner. Whatever the winner comes, I'll be averaging it on the upside. So that way, what I've done is first I have spotted the upcoming sector, that is PSU Bank. Then I have spotted strong stock watch list based on the fundamentals. And fundamentals are, these are all PEAD category stocks like earning blast stock. I've talked about PEAD. The blog is available on our blog. You can go through that. What is meant by PEAD? PEAD is nothing. It is like the companies which have blasted their earnings in the recent quarter compared to previous quarter last year. It has also outperformed on results basis. Now the sector has come up in a ratio chart wherein it is showing strength. Now what I have done is from strong stock watch list, I'll be buying all these 5 stocks in, because the sector is in outperforming stage. I can simply buy these 5 stocks and then after that keep on averaging the upside, which is the winner in this 5 to 6 stocks. So I've created a watch list. I'll be averaging up the winner. For an active investor, what he should do, because this is good for active trader, and as I said that PSU Bank is not in my core portfolio, this is in my satellite portfolio. I sold many of the stocks which were non-circle of competence, which might be like low confidence and which might have triggered the exit. Such stocks plus all the mistakes of my past, the stuck stocks, I have shifted that all to PSU Banks, these 5 stocks. Because I know that even if I'm losing somewhere like 5-6%, I can easily gain back that in these PSU banks going forward. So as an active trader, I'm doing this. But as an active investor, so there is a difference between active trader and investor, because for a trader, it is important for him to remain on the screen whenever the alert happens, because there is a special alert system which we have created that is available for our community members. This is StrategicAlpha alerts, which is specially available for our community members. PNB Bank has came on our alert at 1450, means yesterday before market closing, it has got alerted. And in fact, I have increased out of 5 stocks, 1 stock I have averaged it on the upside, that is PNB Bank. So this is what I'm doing as a trader. But for an active investor, he might look at the markets once in 3 days. So for such people, it is good to bet on PSU Bank ETF. The community, I shared about this PSU Bank ETF in the community at 49 rupees. It has closed at 49.48. In fact, I posted that on Telegram also. So PSU Bank ETF is good for the investor category and strong stock watch list for a trader category. But averaging on the upside is must. So with this, what my objective was to fall lesser than the market and rise higher than the market. So in fact, I shared on Telegram, will buy all these stocks with small allocation and increase selectively as each of them gives breakout. This way, we will be outperforming the stock from PSU bank watch list and super outperform the stock from PSU bank index. And one stock which has came on my radar for averaging on the upside after my first buy is PNB Bank. So I bought it once again. I have increased the position. So I'm heavyweight on PNB among the PSU bank basket. So this was all about how you can spot upcoming winners, even if from the sector perspective, even if from the stock perspective. All that secret lies in ratio chart, and a ratio chart, if you find it difficult, we are developing that model which clearly tells you which sector is going to outperform going forward. So if you are not a part of community, do join the community so that you will be able to participate in the upcoming rallies by looking at this, and it is easier to understand. So if you want to be a part of our community, roads are already open. Whenever you want to join, you can just connect with Ganesh. I just shared a number so that you can be a part to benefit the most from this upcoming sector. So let us end this session. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you.